Hey guys, Big P here. So after taking a look at our brand new Ananta's Gamescom trailer yesterday from the opening night live, as well as discussing this with other fellow content creators like Sweetie and Master, I figured this would be a pretty good video as a follow-up to kind of break down legitimately everything that you guys probably would have missed out from the trailer itself, going through the details of what to expect in the city, by the combat, the gameplay, etc. So without further ado, let's jump right in. I would say one of the most important things to talk about is that for Ananta, their very first launch is going to instantly feature two completely separate cities, one being the more urban-like city that we have been seeing from the recent gacha games, and then the other is going to be a way more traditional kind of a village where we are going to be embarking on two separate adventures across the Asian metropolises. The more urban city is going to be known as Nova City, and then the more Asian plus city is going to be known as Chongqiao, right? So they are essentially inspired by real life and real world locations, such as, for example, Shanghai, Tokyo, Hangzhou, as well as every single one of these little minute details that you might see from the real world. They have somehow managed to integrate it back into the base game itself, which is very interesting. So some of the examples you have probably seen is going to be the landmark-inspired architecture, where they're going to be resembling Wukang Mansion, the Oriental Pearl Tower, the Leifang Pagoda, as well as many more. The Oriental Pearl Tower being one of my favorite because of Dongfang Minzhu from Shanghai is basically something that I have grew up with even as a child, so that was super cool. A couple of other city things would include like local markets, comic book stores, as well as many more interesting areas, especially when you're going to be going through the adventure itself. Then with regards to the open world exploration aspect for Ananta, which is definitely going to be a heavy focus since it is going to be an open world exploration game, there are a lot of different variations that players can essentially use to traverse the world of Ananta. So for example, we do have the swinging, which was seen from the previous TGS, where motorcycles, speedboats, helicopters, and even wingsuits, as well as flying cars. So you pretty much have almost complete freedom with regards to how you want to travel from destination point A to point B. I think one thing that Ananta definitely brought new to this brand new PV is gonna be the whole new influencer system to essentially save the world with your influence, right? So this entire time, you are gonna be building a literal reputation through your social media, as well as assembling a team within the urban city. Other than that, we also have a couple hints of showcases towards the enemies, which they might actually not be enemies because it's just a little bit more of like an evil or like a menacing aura, but they could very well just be like hidden allies or like potential which we might cross again going forward in the future, right? So from the main kinds of enemies that we have seen so far from TV, there seems to be a little bit more of these kind of like anomaly kind of interesting artifacts where they're gonna be like, you know, possessed by this kind of like secret power, as well as a couple of mechanical related enemies, which could be like some kind of like either an AI life form or just a massive weapon, which we're gonna be encountering towards our gameplay itself. There's also a very light hint of a potential maybe pet system, because we do see a couple of like these instances of like cats and just dogs that just traversing around with us when we are going to be traversing within Ananta. So if they could add a little bit more of a brand new pet system, that could be super interesting as well. And then last but not least, it's going to be a couple of outfit showcases where we have seen basically our MCs just walking around Ananta in the open world, wearing a lot of different outfits, which means that a very interesting and large part of customization for the game is most likely going to be hinting towards the cosmetic system itself. So that is pretty much everything that you guys might have potentially missed out from the trailer itself. Besides that, their actual website, which is going to be what me as well as Fob as well as Sweetie discussed the other day, there are a lot of interesting Easter eggs that you can actually go ahead and click for yourself to see a little bit more of a lore as well as revelation for all of the different potential agencies which we are going to be encountering in the world. So for example, the Lingjing Supervisory Agency, that's going to be one of the examples, as well as the Vault Security website, which kind of just show you guys a little bit more of a futuristic kind of like expansion, as well as a couple of things where you literally get hacked by the game, where we saw the hacker after we enter, there was this whole blue screen everything. So the website does have quite a lot of Easter eggs for you guys to discover. Just go ahead and take a look to see what it has to offer, right? So with that, we are going to be coming to an end of every single thing that you guys might have missed from the latest Ananta PV and what this ties towards the expansion, as well as like speculations for the game itself. Let me know what you guys think, thoughts and comments down below. Word of the day is going to be Jeremy. Join YouTube on YouTube. Use code OGRE 10% gamers up. All the best, guys. Bye.